What's your number? Now, my number is 7, but last week it was 8. Taylor Swift is 97, and you remember the Knack? They had that big hit with My Sharona. Their number currently is 54. I'm an Australian. Local artist Kevin Borich, his original band The La-Di-Dahs, their number is 13. So I'm talking about the Spotify Popularity Index. It's a hidden secret score for Spotify, and it's a number between 0 and 100, and it ranks all of the Spotify artists on the basis of them as an artist or as an individual track. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to find it, what it means for you, and maybe what you can do about it as well. G'day and welcome to Indie Over 50. My name is John Huggard, and this channel is dedicated to those of us over the age of 50 releasing new and original music on Spotify and YouTube. And remember, if you have any new music on Spotify or YouTube, just drop the links in the comments below, or if that doesn't work, there's my contact details in the description below, and you can submit your tracks for consideration for our Indie Over 50 playlists. Check them out. Spotify does give us so many numbers. It's incredibly rich data that it provides to us as an artist. I can tell you, over the last 28 days, I've had 17 listeners from Sydney, Australia, and 18 listeners from Warsaw, Poland. And apart from all the data that we see as an artist dashboard, there's that amazing collection of data and insights that we're all shared, either as a listener or as an artist at the end of the year with a Spotify Wrapped. So I wonder why this score is actually hidden. It's a popularity score, and it reduces us all down to one number. And especially if it's a low number, like for me and for most of us, it can be, pretty sobering. But it is available to you once you know what you're looking for. If you do a bit of a Google search, you'll find an API that will help you extract the numbers straight from Spotify itself through your artist dashboard. But that's a little bit complicated. There are other ways of finding it out as well. The other ways are through some music platforms, and on those, often in their free versions, you just have to search for the artist or the title of the track, or copy the links in from Spotify, and it will come up with the number for you. I'll have the details in the description below, but you can use a site called metrics.musicstax.com. And as I said, when you check it out and you find those scores for yourself, you'll see both an artist score and a track score. So remember when I talked about my number of 7 and last week it was 8, that was my as an artist score for Project Reverb. Its popularity is currently dropping. I stopped spending money over a few months ago, so every day the listener count and the stream count is reducing. It's reducing from when I had over 3,000 listeners per month. Now, I don't know what my popularity score was at that point of time. I think if I had a paid version of the platform, it'll probably tell me historical data. My recent track, Could Be Love, has a current popularity score of 17%, but it does tell me that it reached a high of 22%. And my first song that I released, Faith, Hope and Love, has had a maximum score of 18%. So how do they dream up these scores? Well, I couldn't find an official publication of the calculation that was used by Spotify. But there's lots of commentary about the type of inputs that it will rely on. Think about it. How many streams? How many listeners? How many saves? How many skips? How often is your song repeated by a listener? How often is it put onto a playlist and the size of that playlist? What's the geographic location? Is it all dispersed around the world, or is there a local market where you've really cracked it? And also recency. So if you had 5 million streams 5 years ago, that's not as valuable as 5 million streams right now. Now, let's talk about why this score is so important. And yep, it's back to our old favorite, the algorithm. But it's pretty simple. The higher your score, the more likelihood of being placed ultimately onto a Spotify editorial playlist. Now, being on, hottest 100 hits on Spotify would be the equivalent of being on high rotation on your favorite radio station in the old days. It is the holy grail. But even at those early stages of lower popularity numbers, it can have an impact on being picked up by Discover Weekly and Release Radar. Discover Weekly is an algorithm that will try to present your song to people that Spotify thinks like your type of song because of the nature of the genre that those listeners like, or the artists that they follow, or the fact that they've followed you as an artist in the past. Spotify does not lay all this out in a manual for us to discover, but the type of commentary I read or hear on this subject is that you need a score of between 20 and 30 to start spiking that algorithm. And that's when you start to be placed on like release radar and then presented to new audiences on, I think, on a Friday. And you need a score of between 40 and 50 before you're picked up by the really big playlists or start hovering towards the famed holy grail, the Spotify editorial playlists. As an artist, you'll often see radio plays as an algorithmic presentation of your song to people that Spotify thinks might like and love your song and enjoy it. So let's break that down a little bit further. My song, Could Be Love, has had almost 20,000 streams. And remember, it hit a peak of 22% popularity score. Now, the biggest playlist that it's been on during that period of time has been Spotify Radio, 3,000 streams. And remember, Spotify Radio is the automatic song selection that you're offered by Spotify if you finished listening to your current playlist or your current artist or what you've specifically chosen. It will serve up the next song for you. So out of my 20,000 streams, 3,000 by Spotify Radio, another 12,000 were on those playlists, including some very popular playlists that I'd paid effectively for marketing to be promoted onto those playlists. There was about 2,000 to 3,000 streams just on a couple of those bigger playlists. And of course, finally, the balance of the 20,000 was across you. Many listeners and people on different playlists around the world who have discovered or heard the music. Whether they engage with it, they might have just heard it, liked it, they might have heard it skipped, they might have heard it and saved it, and then that becomes a future stream for me if they go back to that my liked playlist and start to play those songs again. Now, to be fair, I have invested in marketing to achieve that result. And when I learnt about the popularity score and the algorithm kicking in around 20 to 30, I really did double down. I spent a little more extra money than I was planning, just hoping to really prompt and get it over. And I can't say it went viral at any point of time. I didn't really see the results of that effort. But again, I have to just believe ultimately that Spotify learnt through repeats, saves, skips, that it wasn't good enough as a song to keep promoting in the algorithm. Maybe it would have. Maybe I stopped too soon. Maybe I should have just spent another month marketing it or spent another $100 marketing it. And maybe I would have really got up into that next level of popularity score and drove what we call organic listens, which is when you're not on a playlist, but you're offered up by the Discover Weekly or by Spotify Radio. So as I say, maybe the song's just not good enough, and that's the call that I made. I'm very proud of the song. I actually just learned last week that it's made the semi-final at this stage of the International Songwriting Competition. I also understand that for 20,000 streams, for some people, that is an amazing achievement, and for others, they expect that by noon. And by the way, if you did have it by noon, that's the equivalent of 14 million streams per annum. So what can you do about it? Well, first of all, knowledge is power. So if this is all new for you, then go and check out your number, find out and drop your comments below. Let us know about your experience with the popularity score. What can you do about it? Well, it may help you to prioritize your marketing efforts on a song that has organically got a better popularity and therefore maybe a better return on investment of deciding to promote that particular song. You could focus on that marketing through a variety of methods we've discussed on this channel before, whether it's your own organic promotion with clever videos and content. It could be through playlisting and making sure that it's on great playlists and larger playlists that a lot of people listen to. It could also be through meta ads and advertising and bringing new listeners to check out your Spotify artist profile and your songs. All of this is designed to help break the algorithm. So I hope that's helped today. You found out about this number and where you can find it from. And by the way, you know what I happened to mention Kevin Borich and his first band, the La-Di-Das? The reason I really mentioned them is I'm a drummer, amongst other things. I've actually got their original drum kit. It's an amazing Rogers 1960s pearl, a little bit like the Beatles kit in the Ludwig, but this is it in the Rogers. So it's a fantastic drum kit, got that heritage of being in that band. I've even got a YouTube video I found of the La-Di-Das performing at the Hordern Pavilion in Sydney in 1974. I bought it secondhand in 1979. Now remember, Indie Over 50, it is free to subscribe, so please do that now. And share your links in the comments below or through using the contact details, and you could be on one of our Indie Over 50 playlists. Your song is not written yet, so rock on and keep Indie Over 50.